I'm Judea Murray, and here on a positive note, we highlight the most heartwarming stories from all around our tri-state that move and inspire us. This first one does just that. When Pelham Parkway's German Santos heard meows for help in his neighborhood, he knew he couldn't turn his back. And because he was proactive, a kitty gets to live her best 9 lives. Let's take a look.
Hi, Susie.
At not even a year old, Susie is a cute tabby kitten who's lucky to be alive.
So far, she's doing great, but right now she's still traumatized.
German Santos came to the cat's rescue after feeding it for several months once he realized it was trapped inside an abandoned laundromat in his neighborhood.
It's heartbreaking, and I kept hearing cries, but I didn't know where it was coming from. And I seen the shadow up there, and I just said, oh my God.
He enlisted the help of Roxanne Delgado, founder of the Friends of Pelham Parkway, to help get Susie out.
I guess I was in the right time at the right place, really. But it's not about that. I can't see these animals suffer.
But now Santos says the cost of food is adding up.
I do my little part in my neighborhood. Somebody's got to do it, right?
Especially since he feeds other cats in the neighborhood and has multiple rescue animals at home already, starting a GoFundMe page and even looking for cat food donations.
If anybody can help out, that'll be a blessing. Not to me, but for them.
Santos and Delgado say a local rescue organization spayed and immunized Susie, adding that she already knows how to use the litter box and is ready for a forever home.
I really hope someone can step up. She definitely needs a special home.
I wish I could do more for these cats out here. She needs a lot of love.
Well, German, you definitely gave her a nice head start on that. Thanks for doing the right thing. We know it's not always easy standing up and taking action. Our next story actually is about a woman who has had a lot of practice in that department. She spent her 80s demanding to be heard. In 2018, this bus shelter in Bridgeport, Connecticut was wrecked after a car crashed into it. Well, that crash left the bus stop out of service for quite some time. Well, until she spoke up. Check it out.
You look beautiful today.
Thank you. I feel good.
88-year-old Eleanor Lewis of Bridgeport has lived at Fireside Apartments for decades.
Going back, just step down.
She took the few final steps of a long and difficult journey this morning, one that began exactly 3 years ago on behalf of her many senior and disabled neighbors.
Yeah, I'm okay. I feel good.
Friends helped her into a car,
Away we go. Away we go.
and moments later, she was headed across the complex.
Oh my God.
You see everybody?
Yes.
The crowd waiting at a brand new bus shelter was just for her.
My goodness.
Hi, how are you?
Rewind now to 2019 when the old bus shelter was demolished after a car crashed into it. To Eleanor's great surprise this morning, the new bus shelter was named in her honor. A truly historic moment for Greater Bridgeport Transit Authority.
This is the very first time we've ever named a shelter after an advocate like this.
I think this is amazing. I've been working on this with Eleanor Lewis for 2 years.
Eleanor Lewis is really a force of nature.
A force of nature who fought hard so her senior and disabled neighbors wouldn't have to fight the other forces of nature while waiting for the bus.
I'm overwhelmed because I never expected anything like this. But I just thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, my mom did always say it's the squeaky wheel that gets the oil. We all have a voice. It's just a matter of how we choose to use it. Well, goodness continues to pour out of Connecticut. Over in Norwalk, regular, everyday people are finally getting the recognition they deserve for their kind deeds. And it's all thanks to a late fast food worker who would serve up smiles with your soft drinks. Suzanne Goldkling brings us more.
She was the queen of the Duchess. For decades, Shirley made memories for families, handing out lollipops, dog biscuits, and hugs. Now her memory is being honored with an award.
Call her the Countess of Cookies. Josephine McGovern makes shopping at Stu Leonard's sweeter.
You see her here all the time, smiling, giving cookies out to kids, always saying hi to people.
But now a surprise is in store. The first ever Shirley Award.
And when doing it all with a smile, just like Shirley did.
And Shirley Alston worked at the Duchess drive-thru for decades with unforgettable flair.
In these times and days that we're going through, positivity matters.
When she passed in December 2020, tributes poured in to the I Love Norwalk Facebook page. John DeScala wanted to preserve that wave of appreciation.
We're honoring the people here who matter, the people here who are here during the tough days in life.
I really surprised this one. Thank you so much for this one. I cannot express my feeling right now.
Now we're on to find Dave Kuban, the owner of Dave and Charlie's hometown deli.
And you embody what service with a smile means, just like Anne Shirley Alston, whom this award is named after.
She was always there, always happy, always smiling, always come around the counter, give my father a big hug.
Shirley, Josephine, Dave never sought the spotlight, but now their service will always shine.
It's amazing how there's so much good news happening every day around our tri-state. And let me tell you about another hero living among us. They call him a super volunteer. That's because Merrick, New York's Hugo Kotler's help has no limits. He's using his golden years of retirement to give back to those in need.
Retired computer programmer Hugo Kotler started volunteering at Long Island Cares in 2016.
I come in and I sort the donations that come in from corporate donors and the food drive. Sometimes I help pack those bins, and those boxes go to our pantries or to our member agencies.
He travels from Merrick to the warehouse in Hauppauge to help feed those in need.
Hugo is one of what we refer to as our super volunteers. He's here every day. We could not accomplish everything that we do without our volunteers. And when you have people like Hugo and about a dozen other volunteers who are here daily, they augment our staff. You know, they supplement all the work we do. And the fact that they're giving of their time and their talents means a great deal to us.
And people are great. I mean, you know, they do what they have to do. They learn right away. I have a roof over my head. I have plenty of food on the table, and I have access to medical care, something that many people that we help do not have. I also love this. I enjoy doing this. At the end of the day, I feel like I've accomplished something, and it's a day well spent.
And that brings us into today's Did You Know? As you know, it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day weekend. Most of us won't be going to work on Monday in order to celebrate the life of the civil rights leader and legend. But did you know there's something extra special about this holiday? Martin Luther King Jr. Day is the only American's birthday that is celebrated as a federal holiday. Now, technically speaking, former Presidents George Washington and Abraham Lincoln's birthdays are also celebrated in this country, but they're lumped together under one holiday, and it's called President's Day. Martin Luther King Jr. is the only American to have a whole day to himself dedicated to his birthday. We all know that Martin Luther King Jr. was all about unity and equality. Perhaps one of his greatest accomplishments was finding ways to bring people closer together. That's actually something a woman from Milford, Connecticut has been working on herself. Danielle Weisberg just might have the perfect recipe for spreading kindness and strengthening her community. And it comes in the form of lasagna.
Lasagna chefs can use whatever recipe they want. One of my favorite recipes is called Easiest Lasagna Ever. So it calls for ground beef, but you can also use sausage or ground turkey.
It's a one-dish meal that freezes well. But for Danielle Weisberg, lasagna was the key to a whole new life.
I had recently been laid off from my job, and I was also looking for a way to help.
Danielle saw a social media post about Lasagna Love, a charity with a simple strategy.
The mission is feeding families, spreading kindness, strengthening communities, and that's really what it's about. It's just a little bit of kindness.
Make life's tough moments easier with free lasagna.
I remember when I received my first match, I was very excited. I was a little nervous. I'm a confident cook, but I was still nervous about cooking for somebody I didn't know.
People request meals through the organization's website.
One that sticks in my mind was a single mom with a little girl, and the mom was working multiple jobs, and she had actually been out of work for a while, and I think her food stamps were running low, and she was really just trying to find a way to feed her daughter, and that resonated with me as a mom.
Volunteers can follow any recipe they like.
My husband's family, his grandmother was known for her lasagna. I'm channeling her a little bit and keeping her memory alive too.
Sometimes Danielle hears from her diners.
Definitely I've had older people say, thank you so much for this. It's been a long time since I've had somebody cook for me.
Sometimes not. But the end result, like a good plate of pasta, always satisfies.
I'll see a bunch of kids like in the doorway behind their mom or something, and they're just like smiling and running around, and they're really excited, and they're asking, what is it? What's lasagna?
What a sweet mission. Lasagna Love started in California during the early days of the pandemic, but thanks to volunteers like Danielle, it's spread itself nationwide. We have more information on how you too could get involved in Lasagna Love on news12.com.